heated debate, it's time to relax a little bit. Now, let's be honest with ourselves. We've all had one of those moments when all we want is to understand what the doctor just said. But even the doctors and their weird terminologies may not be in a position to explain how cow dung makes a man. Wilson Buru has all that and more in this week's episode of Mock the Week.
The 33rd week of the year. Remember this?
Kwa nini hiyo watu naanza kutairi sisi kwa barabara?
Sisi tunaharibiwa kwa kimila mtu mwingine tofauti.
Sio kwa nimekataa. Lakini wakanishika na nguvu, sasa nikabidi tu nikakubali.
If you don't, let me try and sum it up for you. These guys, who are Turkana by the way, were furious because some guys from Bukusuland wanted to initiate them into manhood using tactics they do not quite approve of without having had prior dialogue to that effect. Got it? Good. We're on the same page now. It turns out that the Bukusu were just a little bit overexcited because it's August, and traditionally, this is the time when boys have to become men. And being a man is no mean feat. It's a rigorous, painful, and surprisingly extremely smelly process.
Kwanza tutampaka kinyesi cha yule ng'ombe ambaye amechinjwa.
Let's pause this thing right there for a moment. I'm not an expert in matters of cultural initiation into manhood, but isn't not smelling like cow excrement one of the things one is supposed to be taught as a man?
Alafu anasabwa kofi ili kumpatia ile mori ya kuwa mjasiri.
Yes, to be a man, you've got to be able to take it like a man. And after taking it like a man, another important lesson one has to be taught while being initiated into manhood is to lie through your teeth.
Mimi kusikia kwa uchungu. Mimi niliona tu vizuri hata sikujua kama wamekata.
Angalia wakati walivishia frame ndio maana nimetairisha.
But the reason these two men did not quite feel a thing is probably because the cut was voluntary.
John Shege Ngoiri's private parts were chopped off by a drinking buddy after he allegedly refused to buy him drinks.
Alinipiga. Alafu kafanya vita alifanya huku chini.
A drinking spree gone horribly wrong. There's absolutely nothing funny about anyone having their private parts chopped off, but there are a few curious issues arising from this situation here. Issue number one.
Aliniambia nimununulie pombe nikakataa.
What sort of half-witted, malicious nincompoop goes chopping off another man's private parts just because they've refused to buy them anything? Not to mention that that's a completely disproportionate reaction. It's like shooting somebody in the face just because they nudged you in the ribs.
I had undergone a total traumatic orchidectomy. There was a hernia injury at the mid-penile shaft.
And that brings us to issue number two. Why can't doctors just speak English? I mean, you go to a doctor, you have a running nose, you're sneezing a bit, and the doctor says, I'm sorry, you seem to be suffering from an acute viral nasopharyngitis, which is basically an infectious disease of the upper respiratory tract, which is primarily affecting your nose. Really? I think we need to introduce English as a compulsory subject in all medical schools, because then our good doctor here would have said,
both testes had been chopped off completely.
And as we continue to hope that the assailant in this case is arrested and sent to prison for a very, 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 very long time, Bernard Kiala was facing the threat of being chopped off the list of deputy governors.
And it was not in the interest of Machakos County that the deputy governor continues to hold office.
Let's first understand how Mr. Kiala found himself in this position. You see, the Machakos County Assembly was sick of him because the MCAs thought he was soliciting bribes, harassing senior staff, fueling tribal animosity and associating with political detractors of the area governor Alfred Mutua, who, by the way, is very famous for building a better quality road at 3 times the speed and just a third of the cost. But I digress. So the case went to the Senate.
If you can't manage your cabinet, you don't bring to the Senate. We are very serious people. We didn't come to this Senate to joke around.
And just to show you how serious our senators are, they stayed up late, very late, midnight late to discuss this issue of national and probably international importance.
You took him or her for good, for worse. You will sit and work together for 5 years.
Yes, this marriage was not going to be dissolved regardless of whether one spouse is not wanted by the other spouse or his family.
None of this has sustained the impeachment charges.
But as that marriage continued trotting on the rocks, some other people were on a familiar tune.
Apende wasipende, mambo ya referendum itaendelea. Na tutamfinyia kwa ukuta mpaka pesa ikuje mashinani.
I'm sorry, you're going to do what?
Na tutamfinyia kwa ukuta mpaka pesa ikuje mashinani.
We're not sure how this is going to work, but if it's going to happen, I want to be there to pick up whatever falls out. Wilson Buru, for KTN's Mock the Week.